The finals just challenged every other major FPS title out there right now in a way that announces, hey, if they can do it, why can't our game? Aim assist in games has been under fire a lot lately, and for rightful reasons on all ends of the arguments. Most recently with what I can imagine is an unintended byproduct of a mapping tool for controller on PC, but especially in the way of, say, the COD scene, it feels like the conversation has been exponentially louder in how many people are sharing their voices on the subject. But the finals recently did their part in step one of trying to make things a little more fair and balanced across the board. And today, we're breaking down what that is and why that is. So drop a like if you enjoy the videos, subscribe for more finals content as well as other FPS content, and make sure to use code espresso for up to 30% off your next order of G Fuel. But for now, let's take a look at what the finals did that is so important. So the finals has been getting a steady amount of support, technically speaking, squashing bugs and adjusting balance of certain items since its launched last month. But as of yesterday, they put out another update for the game. There was their first update back after the holiday, in which they stated on socials, we're back with a small patch that addresses community feedback on aim assist. These changes are the result of an in-depth review on how aim assist works in game. Another bigger update due next week. Stay tuned. They stated that that update next week would come along with a major security fix, which is always nice to hear, and then some new content to stay tuned for. So sounds like we might be jumping back into the finals here on the channel once again next week for a bit of coverage on that. But in the meantime, here's what that update changed. The zoom snapping angular velocity now has a cap, preventing unintended rapid 90-degree turns. The camera magnetism will be lowered to 35%, which is down from 50%, making player aim assist less sticky and lowering controller accuracy. Zoom snapping time will be reduced to 0.25 seconds, down from 0.3 seconds. Zoom snapping will be removed from the SR-84 sniper rifle, revolver, LH-1, and all shotguns, as it buffs them more than other weapons. Aim assist will ignore invisible players, fixing a bug that existed with the system, and clients running key remapping programs on PC will not have access to aim assist. So aim assist, aim assist, aim assist. Big things all on the table here in regards to the changes that were made, but what do they actually mean if you're not maybe used to the verbiage used? Zoom snapping angular velocity, that's just something that corrected a bug that allowed players to snap the entire body rotations and stay on target. Camera magnetism is probably the most straightforward adjustment, that it's just the magnetic pull, air quotes on magnetic, of aim assist, that being dropped now by 15%. Zoom snapping is that time that it takes to snap to an enemy. Aim assist ignoring invisible players gives a lot of benefit to the cloak light build ability, which I'd imagine was never meant to have that sort of thing happen, because otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose of going invisible here. So that should now act properly, and clients running remapping will no longer have access to aim assist. This is a big one to note because honestly, I kind of think this is a really quick turnaround response to something. This, I'd imagine, is a response to the rise of a program called ReWASD or ReWASD. Now, I'm not too familiar with it, but on a basic surface level, this program doesn't seem malicious, but instead is just a genuine program meant for PC and Xbox controller compatibility. There's plenty of softwares out there like this that allow for the use of controller on PC and lowering response time on controller, that latency between the two systems, allowing for remapping if you want custom button binds and stuff like that. The thing that's caught fire recently with this is that it's something that allows for binding that sort of emulates the effects even on keyboard and mouse. So that means if you play on keyboard and mouse, previously in all games, you wouldn't be getting any sort of aim assist. But if you ran this software in the background, the input would then think you're on controller, even if you're on mouse and keys, meaning that you'd end up getting aim assist in those FPS titles, which of course is something that is problematic on the fundamental level of how things in the sort of status quo work right now. Maybe you'd want to argue that mouse and keys should also have aim assist, but regardless of any personal opinion on it, that was something that this now negates that unintended benefit for the gameplay systems with that program in the background and others like that. So firstly, for the finals, this is kind of a big deal because aim assist, if you're playing on controller, was insanely strong. Maybe on PC too, but I felt like my Steam controller configs were weird, so I swapped to just simply mouse and keys and hadn't swapped back and forth since then, since the launch of the game. But aim assist was a huge issue that players had with the game, so a nerf to it naturally makes sense and is one of those welcome changes by the competitive scene for a lot of players. Now, of course, that is going to be something that those players that played on controller, having that decreased, is probably not an ideal situation for them, but it's again one of those back and forths where there's never going to be every happy party. But on a larger scale, the finals is the first major FPS game in recent discourse to be like, okay, we see what you mean that this is a little too powerful, here's a fix. And in a timely manner with that ReWASD program that's kind of been the catalyst for one of the talking points, not only just within the patch notes, but also within the larger gaming space as a whole. And Bark truly said, we gotcha, what else is everyone gonna do about it, to the entire gaming community. They were the first ones to take that leap and change something that has been a hot button issue for a long time and a sort of fundamental level across the industry, controller versus mouse and keys. So because of that challenge, what's the outside looking in look like? Well, at least from a COD perspective, it seems like for the most part, everyone's like, oh damn, good for them. That's a good change. And in the COD scene in particular, it's again a huge talking point because apparently rotational aim assist has a 60% magnetism in COD. We just saw that a 50% nerf was already a huge issue, dropping it down to 35%, while COD still sits almost double that. As Redditor Third Pawn put it, that means that if you're engaging in rotational aim assist properly, then factually, just as a matter of basic math, the game is contributing more to your aim than you are, which is actually kind of an astonishing thought, kind of wild to consider with that. So very much so a hot button issue that I'm now wondering if we're going to see anything done in other games, whether Apex will drop theirs. I think theirs is still around 60% as well for rotational aim assist, if COD does anything like that. And personally, I've been insanely impartial to the topic of aim assist. I could care less for myself and my personal experience because I'll play on either. I don't care which input I'll play on. I can play on mouse and keys or I can do it with a controller. Now, I won't be lying to you and say that, oh, there's nothing wrong with controller, even though I play on controller. Like, I'm not gonna pull that card because while I understand for the technical reasoning why you have aim assist, it's so much tougher to have accuracy on a small thumbstick versus controlling your entire desk surface. I get that you have to have some sort of system in place as a controller is a much more limiting and casual of interfaces, but in recent years, even as someone, again, who's played COD on controller, it's not a case of it's not powerful. It's stupidly powerful. And it seems like the last couple of years have only been getting stronger and stronger. So I'm curious to see if this will do anything in regards to the reception and if there's going to be anything that actually comes of this, because there have been a lot of things that on a larger picture have been mentioned this year but still have not been talked about. Matchmaking is another thing that hasn't been touched on officially, even though it was mentioned that there'd be some sort of update or some sort of clarity here after season 1, though to be fair, that announcement did say that after season 1 they were going to start collecting that data and stuff, so I'd probably imagine we see that around season 2, any sort of addressing of that. But I mean, kudos to the finals here for taking that first big step in changing something that gives a more competitive layout here for the game as a whole. So that said, that is where we're going to wrap it up. That is what we have on deck for the finals most recent update and a big one on aim assist. Next week, they're going to be introducing again some more updates like security measures and some new content. Very curious to see what that new content will be. So we might have another video going live here on the channel, but for now, that, I think, is what we're going to call it. Before we wrap everything up, make sure to check out my friends over at G Fuel, where code Espresso can get you up to 30% off your entire order. And to me, G Fuel's like my cup of coffee in the morning, gets my productivity flowing and the day started. When you want to grab a restock or pick something up for the very first time, grab your favorite subs like Hype Sauce, Pog Juice, or just try something out for the first time like a starter kit. And I think they still come with shaker cups as well. You can grab one of those with code Espresso. It can help you out with a nice discount year-round of anywhere from 20 to 30% off your entire order. Personally, I'd recommend Pog Juice, Pink Trip, the Morbius Nectarine flavor, and a few others, but if you want to check something out for yourself, link in the description below. And if you guys want to grab anything, code Espresso at checkout can help you out. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of this update for the finals? If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing getting all things FPS content, like the finals, X Defiant, Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, and more. We got you covered here on the channel. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.